Stacey Murphy here from Dreaming Earth. Now, what the heck is Dreaming Earth and why do you care? So, humans are at a critical moment in history. Our actions today are going to have a huge impact on generations to come. Consider for a moment where your mind went when I said those words. Notice that I didn't tell you what the critical moment was. I also didn't tell you what the impact was that we were going to have on future generations. So if you are somebody who is focused on the earth and sustainability, your mind may have gone to climate change because you see that as the biggest problem that we need to solve and the place where we need to have the biggest impact on future generations. But notice I never said that that's what I was talking about. So the words that you choose to share in the world, they're coming from your mindset. They're coming from your perspective. The way that you frame what you're saying is decided by your mindset. Whether you think what's going on is a good thing or a bad thing, it's going to show up in the way that you talk about it. And not only that, but the words that you choose to speak into the world are important because the person on the other side is receiving them and you have an influence over their mindset. Now, consider for a moment that we are a collective mass consciousness, all of humans. So the words that we choose to express about this beautiful planet Earth that we live on, this paradise that we live on, the words that we choose to describe it have an impact in the way that other people see it. But beyond that, it actually helps to create the world that we're living in. So consider for a moment, go to any personal development coach in the world, and the first thing they're going to tell you, if you want to change anything in your life, if you want to stop smoking, if you want to lose weight, if you want to find the romance of your life, the first thing a personal development coach talks about is your mindset. Because when you change your mind, you change your life. When you change what you're looking at changes. This is the observer effect. And if you look at quantum physics, what quantum physics will show you as well is that the way that you choose to measure something can actually change the outcome. So the words that we're choosing can actually change the outcome of Earth. So we're going to dream the version of Earth that we want into being. So let me give you a quick example so that this can really settle in to you. So IKEA did a study. They had two identical plants that they planted. They had the same exact soil in both conditions. They had the same amount of watering in both conditions from the same source of water. They had the same amount of light in the same place. Everything was the same in the way they grew these plants except for one thing. So that one thing was us. It was what we believed to be true about the plants, what we communicated to the plants about them. So in one case, one of the plants, they had kids bully them. You suck, you're never going to amount to anything, you're ugly, you're so tiny, you're going to die, all these things. The other plant, they loved it. They said, "We love you, thank you so much, you're beautiful, you're growing so healthy and strong, your leaves are so green." And what do you think happened in this study? When you go and you look at the photos of these two plants, the difference is obvious. The plant that was bullied is about 30% smaller, it's withered, it has brown leaves, it doesn't look as vibrant. The other plant looks upright and strong and vibrant. The effect of our words is powerful over all of consciousness. And consciousness is not just human consciousness. Earth has consciousness. Every cell of your body has infinite wisdom, has consciousness that's connected to everything. Every plant has consciousness. Every animal has consciousness. It might not be the same exact version that we understand consciousness because of the way that our brain works, but everything has consciousness. That is what life is consciousness. And so by us having a conversation with the earth, the version of earth that we want, the paradise that we want, I think we can all agree that we want to live in harmony with this earth, that we want the best of technological innovation along with the paradise of the abundance of nature and a beautiful setting for all of us, for clean air, clean water, for food that is just phenomenally nutritious, all of these things that we can agree that we would all love for everybody, 100% of humanity. What if we dreamed about that every day? What if we talked about that every day instead of focusing on the problems? Now, the problems are helpful because they show us what we don't want. And so with mass consciousness, if we're all focused on the problems, the Einstein said this, it's part of quantum physics as well. The vibration of the problem is different than the vibration of the solution. So Dreaming Earth recognizes that mindset matters. Your mindset matters because your mindset determines the beliefs that you have about this earth, which determines what you say about this earth, which determines how you influence other people with your thoughts and your beliefs about this earth. We know that all of our collective actions add up to what happens here on planet Earth, and which formulates what happens next on planet Earth. We are already creating Earth. We are. That's what we're doing. Now is the opportunity to daydream the version that we want into being. We know we're all one. We've seen the images from space. We know we're spinning in outer space on this globe and how precious that is. We want to collaborate. We want everybody to have peace and prosperity and abundance. And you know, sometimes we get caught up in our day-to-day drama, and that's okay. The idea of Dreaming Earth is to remember that we're in a conversation with an entire planet, that our consciousness is in conversation with an entire planet. So the earth is listening to you, the plants are listening to you, the animals are listening to you, the trees are listening to you, the sky is listening to you, the soil is listening to you, and it is a conversation, and it is responding to you. And all of the rest of humanity is responding to you. So the number one thing that you can do to address climate change is to change your mindset, to change what you believe is possible about this earth, to change your conversation with other people about what is possible on this earth, to focus on the daydreaming of what is possible. Because guess what? We have never been more connected here on planet Earth through all these devices. We've never had more technological innovation. We've never had more awareness of our ability to create our emotional, that our emotional well-being is what helps to create the positive world that we live in. We've never had more understanding and compassion of what's possible here on Earth when we don't treat each other well. And so right now is the moment to daydream. If you've fallen out of the habit of daydreaming, I totally get it. We used to do it as kids all the time. We used to lay in the grass and stare at the clouds and point at the clouds and talk about what we saw there. We used to daydream all the time. And sometimes when you get older, become an adult, sometimes you forget to daydream. You're probably doing it on a subconscious level already, but just to bring it back into the foreground, if you haven't daydreamed in a while, I'll give you a couple pointers. So you could daydream about simply the way you want to feel. Maybe you don't know exactly what it looks like, what this perfect planet looks like for you, this beautiful paradise planet Earth, but maybe you have a feeling of it. Like maybe it smells like a particular flower that you love. Or maybe there's just a feeling of calm. Maybe there's just a feeling of peace. Everybody's at peace. There's nothing that we need to do. We're just all at peace with one another. Maybe it is a taste. Maybe there is something delicious that just sparks your love of this planet and you just love the taste of it. So just daydreaming just about that taste, just being able to taste that all the time. Maybe it's about connection. Maybe it's about connecting to your community or connecting to nature in a new way. Maybe it's about, having a really interesting experience with an animal. My sister is a squirrel whisperer, and squirrels crawl up her leg and sit on her shoulder. So maybe it's about having a one-on-one experience with an animal or with a human that is really heartwarming. So maybe it's just the feeling of love and heartwarming and feeling connected to other humans. Whatever it is for you that could just begin the process of daydreaming. It doesn't have to be that you see an entire future city or an entire existence of your life unfolding. Maybe it's just a feeling that you want to cultivate today in your heart. And that's one of the reasons why I love the song Imagine by John Lennon is the feeling of this song is one of sort of daydreaming and this feeling of what if, this sort of slow motion feeling of imagine the world where 100% of humanity is peaceful, is prosperous, is abundance. And so I invite you to sit for a while and daydream and imagine, maybe play that song and see what you start to daydream about today. Go ahead and post your comments below, the number one thing that you're daydreaming into being today.